What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Westerbros.
Wow,
Westerbros. Yo.
What I miss?
Everybody's laughing at me.
0 to 8.
Everybody's laughing because I'm very hungover. I'm severely hungover.
For once, I'm not the most hungover.
Yeah, and you know what? You don't really come across as hungover. I just want to say usually.
He's Irish.
Yeah,
That's how it works.
but I'm Scottish.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd want to admit that the way you came in here.
Damn, yo, Marco's been bullying me, bro. Yo, he sensed weakness. You know what I mean? Like a wounded gazelle.
Yep.
And he pounced, bro. This guy's been pouncing. The first thing I said, I was like, bro, I feel so vulnerable. He's like, you look it. I want to throw up. He goes, what'd you say? I was like, man, I feel like shit. He goes, there's no way you could feel worse than your face looks.
Yeah, that's what I should say that.
We're on floor 12. We didn't even get to 22 in the elevator yet. This guy's a real jerk. This guy's a real fucking jerk. Anyway, we just watched the last episode of Game of Thrones. First of all, I just want to stop and say thank you to everybody who's been watching this with us. It's been crazy to see the show really blow up, man. I think the first episode we did maybe like 30,000 people listen, and now I think we're at like 150,000 people or something like that. Pretty big. Pretty impressive. So thank you guys for spreading the word. That's been awesome. So I think we should do what we did last week where we just kind of give some thoughts about the episode, and then we'll go through the characters. And we also got a special guest. We got like a real TV film expert, besides Jack, of course.
Yeah.
A real TV film expert that's going to come and break it down for us. Maybe I should keep that as a secret, even though we're probably going to put his name in the title.
I never understand why podcasts do that.
Yeah, fuck.
It's a secret,
We
but
got
it's
a
on the
special
title.
guest featuring. Well, we got Tom Cruise here today, so I'm really excited. Tom Cruise is coming. You know what I mean? No, we got my man Blogxilla. Zilla's in the building. A little round of applause for Zilla. Okay, came all the way up from his lovely home in Georgia with a pool. He made sure to let me know that he had a pool in his home.
Would have been nice to have a pool on a day like today.
I could drink a pool.
Yeah.
Right now, I think that is the only
problem
thing.
is you drank a pool last night.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe good point. Maybe good point. I'm here, by the way, with Haney, Marco, and Jack. We got Alex Media over there as well, and we got another special guest. I don't know how long she's gonna be here, but hopefully she hangs out for the episode. We got Weezy in the building. Weezy told me that she's been getting almost sexually harassed by Flagrant 2 fans. Not physical touch, but close. A thrusting motion at her. With permission granted.
Yeah, they ask for consent. They're nice.
See? You know what I mean? Keep it consensual. That's our new slogan. All right, so let's get it going. I'll start it off. I really loved the episode.
That's a hot take.
Let me tell you why. I really love the episode, and I'll tell you why.
Really loved?
Loved. Like, got emotional a couple times. And I'll tell you why. I felt like there was such a short leash in terms of what they could do, right? Like,
Whose fault is that?
But again, we're judging the episode,
All right.
not the whole series
Well,
and
we
the
should
whole
have a
series
part where
build
we
up.
talk about the
sure,
whole
let's do
series.
that too. We're just judging the episode. For me, that's all I'm talking about is the episode. Not everything they could have done this season and added another season, all that. Just what they did with what they had. They had an hour and 20 minutes to button this up, and in that hour and 20 minutes, Tyrion goes from being a bum all last 2 seasons to actually being a G, using his mind to convince Jon to do some shit, right? Obviously to kill Dany. I love that flip. I liked, we'll go through character by character, but I thought there were some things I did not predict in the episode. I always like that. I wasn't a big fan of like the dragon, like what, I don't understand what he understands and what he doesn't. Like he didn't understand that she was murdered, but he understood that the throne was this evil thing.
Yeah.
No,
He was cool.
He can't kill Jon, right? Like, because he's a Targaryen.
Theoretically, there's a Targaryen angle.
I didn't know they can't. Well, I thought there was a battle of the Targaryen.
And then, like,
Targaryens.
symbolically, it's like what really killed her was her quest for power, was that throne.
I understand the symbolism of it.
Right.
I'm saying, like, the dragon taking issue with the throne. Like, you could have lit that on fire whenever.
Well, we can't.
He was
ask
just
him.
pouring one out for Daenerys. He
That's
was
it. That was his version of pouring one out.
Yeah.
Like, if I can have it, nobody can have it.
Like, he's like, I'm so angry, I have to put this rage somewhere.
was his
I'm gonna
rage.
Put it on that throne.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a
I don't
cool. It
think
was a cool
so.
image that they wanted to use.
I think it was just
It
like
was convenient that the
Yeah.
throne was in the way of the fire.
No.
No, I think it was
He
intentional.
I think he was
specifically
going for
went
the fire.
for the throne because
I
he was
think he was going
about
for
to
the
light
throne.
up John,
Yeah.
and then he turns his head a little bit to the right, melts the throne, does not stop blowing fire until the throne is melted,
Yeah.
and that's the beginning of breaking the circle. The cycle. What is it? The circle.
The wheel.
The wheel.
The wheel. Whatever. Whew. Boy hung over out here. So I think that's the beginning of breaking the wheel, right? And then we see the wheel continue to be broken throughout other points in the episode. And again, I want to go through each character and see, what their journey was. But the way they buttoned it up, even with John in the end, where John ends up. We think that he's going to be at Castle Black, but he really ends up being the king of the wildlings or whatever the fuck that is.
He's the
You
remains.
think?
The
You
free
guess, right?
No,
You
that's
missed the metaphor with this fucking dragon in the seat.
I didn't miss it. I
I'm calling
picked
it
up on
the
it.
seat,
Yeah.
bro. Guys, it is going to be a stretch today.
It is a seat. That's all it ended up being was
Yeah,
a seat.
it's just a fucking seat.
It's
Yeah,
all,
and I love how they picked someone who already had a seat.
What? I didn't get that. I missed the punchline.
Bran.
Okay.
Like he's already
doesn't
had
need a
his
new
throne.
chair.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Listen,
easier.
budgetary restrictions. We couldn't pick someone that we'd have to remake the throne. We have someone
Mobile
who already
throne.
has it. It's the mobile throne. He's the king no matter where he goes. So I loved it. I really loved it. The brand thing, I think that those are the highest odds in Vegas, and someone must have leaked.
Of course.
Like, one of these girls got drunk or dudes got drunk at a party. They're like, yo, a brand got that shit, blah, blah, blah. And then it spread. So that was a little bit of a bummer. But had they hidden that better, I think it would have been really surprising and cool.
It wasn't. It was not at all.
Had they hidden it better.
No, I was not. I didn't
you-
really pay
you-
attention. I
you
was
thought
off the grid.
Bran
I
was
was
gonna
off the
do?
grid. What's that?
You thought Bran was going to be
At that point, I thought it could have been anybody. I wasn't really.
But you heard the rumors.
Yo, yeah.
Like you existed in America the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, I did not really listen to the rumors.
But there's
I
been
knew
rumors
about the
of
line in
everybody.
Vegas. There's been rumors about everyone.
Right.
That's it.
And you hear people make
He had the best
spoilers
odds.
on Sansa. Yeah, he had the best odds, and he won it. Okay. I don't. But
What I'm saying is if I didn't know that he had the best odds,
it wouldn't have made it better.
it would have made it better for me.
Okay.
Because I would have never predicted Bran. That'd be the last person that I predict would be Bran. But that's my thoughts.
Well, Bran had to come in at some point, right? He's been taking the back seat this whole season.
Sure, possibly. What did you think of that episode, Jack?
All right, my whole thing is, you said you got emotional.
Two times.
I was so emotionally removed
Void
at
of
this
emotion.
point after this whole season. So
Yeah.
I was really numb to kind of everything, which is weird because the show has always been like, I've gotten emotional when I'm supposed to get emotional.
What
Yeah,
about
but
when
someone
he-
told you Santa Claus doesn't exist like 6 weeks ago, and you haven't been the
Exactly,
same.
exactly,
You haven't
yeah.
been the same since.
Oh yeah, you got
Same,
PTSD.
same kind of
Yeah.
letdown, yeah.
Not even with the dog, his little Van Gogh dog.
That was a nice moment, but at this point I was just like, you know what? Let's be done with it. It's over.
Okay.
Yo, good.
I mean, it's basically, we were worried that it was going to be the Disneyfication, which is what I called it, of this show.
Right.
And this is basically the Disney version of what.
No, because wouldn't John end up on the throne in the
Yeah.
Disney one?
All right. Aside from that,
I would say that.
everything else is like, you pretty much tied it up with a bow.
So Tyrion ends up being the hand for Bran. That's Disney.
Everything goes back to basically, the same structure except for the new democracy of
Right.
Voting
the
for a king.
Electoral College.
right.
Yeah, that's literally how the Electoral College happened.
Right.
They're like, why don't we let these idiots vote? And they're like, what?
Yeah.
We'll decide.
Like when Danny died, I literally was just I couldn't care less. I was
Yeah,
just
it was
like, okay.
meaningless to me.
Totally meaningless.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
So
So here's a question for you on that.
yeah.
So how do we create meaning from Manny after meaning from Danny after she's been
Like for Manny.
Yeah, Manny. Bro, I'm drunk. Listen, after she's been such a villain, right?
can't.
It's like you can't, right? So it's like would there be any way to get us to feel sad for her in any way?
I think the beauty of Game of Thrones was that we felt strongly about people that we weren't supposed to.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I always loved about the show, and I felt nothing for Danny when
Yeah.
she died. So to me, that's the failure of the show.
But maybe it's because she had no human connection. Like I think it was the human connection that made us feel, forgive Jamie for his transgressions.
Sure,
and
but
made us-
we saw that side to Jamie. Like, all right, that scene between Tyrion and Jon, where Jon's still standing up for Daenerys.
Yeah.
If this were pulled off the right way, in a 10-episode season maybe, or there was more time to develop Dany's turn,
That
Yeah.
would have happened like
that would have happened way earlier, but also we would have been more on John's side than just like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Right.
You know what? They should have had John and Danny be intimate the whole time. I think having John break off emotionally really isolates Danny, and you're like, okay, I'm cool with this bitch dies. But if he actually really loves her and they're in love and making out, there's one last person that she has a connection with on that planet, and he killed.
Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
The last time John was in love was with a supposed
Egret.
enemy, right?
Yeah.
At the time, she was a wildling. But when we had scenes with her and when she died, it was really emotional.
Yeah.
Because we were given the time to be with them and be with her and see both sides to it. Danny is arguably the protagonist or the antagonist of this show, and I felt nothing for her.
So like they could have done that, because I guess one of my biggest beef with the show is now, after seeing it unfold, is that like, what did John's lineage actually mean?
Ultimately,
Nothing.
nothing.
It meant
It
nothing
saved
that
his
who he
life.
was.
It saved his
They
life.
had the whole little council meeting. No one thought, like, hey, man, he actually is of
The rightful heir. Yeah.
like, no one brought that up.
Yo,
He's just
Even if it didn't matter at that moment. So that whole
That's my
storyline meant
number
nothing.
one question. Why wouldn't someone just be like, by the way, Grey Worm, that prisoner that you have, he has the true
No one ever brought it up.
claim to the throne.
Didn't come up once.
Like, why didn't that come up? Was it because they knew John said, I don't want it, and he's going to be the post little
I don't
bitch
know
John
why they
shit?
did it. I just think it was, well, how were they going to bring it up? They determined that they were going to do
Half
this.
the people there knew.
But half the people there knew, but no one else knew.
But what you guys are forgetting is the Unsullied wouldn't let him do it because they killed his queen.
Right.
But still, but they can be like, he's actually your king. He actually had more of a claim to the throne than
I'm not
than,
saying
than
he
your
should have
queen
gotten
did.
the throne.
Unsullied wasn't going to allow that.
Do you think
Which
that
is
you're
fine.
saying that they were so irrational? Grey
But
Worm
it was a
so,
conversation piece.
Could have brought it up.
We could have brought it up. That's
It
all I'm
could have been
saying.
brought up.
We could have tabled it for discussion.
You
And
know,
then
that
Unsullied.
was obvious. Can I get a mic?
Yeah, come over.
It's like,
Hold on one second. We're getting you a mic now. We're getting you a mic now.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't got to bring up what's obvious just because you guys are forgetting.
But we got to
like,
make sure that the
audios and all levels are good.
the camera's good.
Okay. Yeah, give me a second.
Is that one on though?
Yeah.
But what?
We only have the wide.
Oh yeah. So
Want me to come behind you or something?
let's
Pause.
go right there.
Okay.
Go right there. You slide back again.
Why
You
don't
slide
just
back.
slide over? Oh.
Yeah, you slide over a little
Oh, no,
bit more.
well, then,
Well, because then
We're only a wide shot.
Okay.
the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But then his microphone's, it's the whole
And
thing.
then you kind of, yeah.
Okay, so
How we doing? And then maybe you pull in a little bit, Jack. What do you think? Listen, thank you, Zilla, for ruining the fucking beginning of this episode.
I'm so sorry.
Couldn't
but,
wait
like,
10 minutes. Couldn't wait
I'm so
10
sorry.
minutes to say the Unsullied didn't want it to happen.
Yeah, the Unsullied didn't want it. They
Everybody
wasn't
who's
gonna let
tuned
it.
out because we had to
But there's a big
rearrange
piece of information
seats.
that they don't know.
No, they know.
They don't know that.
They absolutely know. Everyone knows. You got to understand. So, at the end of season 6, the showrunners for Game of Thrones said they don't want to do it anymore. They said we're not doing this. They wanted 10 episodes, so they got the Star Wars trilogy.
Right.
So they said we'll just give you 2 seasons, and they shortened the season. So they
Right.
shoved 40 episodes into one season.
Right. Understand
that. So it's all sped up. So
Got it.
the
So
show is
everyone
shit. Is
knows.
rush. Is rush. So
fuck them.
the Unsullied.
We're
Everyone
going to get
knows.
into that for sure.
Everyone knows. So the Unsullied wouldn't allow it because they killed Daenerys. So Jon could not be king at all. So that's that. But you got to understand that the show gave you everything they wanted to give you. They gave you the Azor Ahai prophecy, which was Dany's vision. When she goes into the what is it called, the House of the Undead. When she goes look for her dragons, and she sees the Iron Throne burn down, and she goes through that door, and she goes back with Khal Drogo and her baby. That's her dying.
Right.
So she was gonna die there regardless. That was a foreshadow thing.
Right.
He sticks his heart into Nissa, sticks the knife into Nissa's heart, which is Daenerys, pulls it out, Lightbringer comes out. That was the prophecy that was always there. So all the prophecies paid off.
Right.
They paid off in theory, but not in execution or not in like
I guess that's the thing. It's like, yes, they did everything they were supposed to, but there was a lot more juice left on that fruit, you know?
Yeah.
So
I give you that.
That's
but
what it felt. It felt like someone was making orange juice by just squeezing a little bit and then throwing it away.
You guys,
You know?
it felt like
You know how white people eat chicken wings? That's
Yeah.
what this felt like.
a lot of meat left on the
A lot
bone.
of meat left
A
on
lot of
it.
meat left on
yeah,
the bone?
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
So it was like, how do we ramp up the emotion? Like, I think we just sat here and figured out a cool way to ramp up the emotion of Dany, right? Like Dany and Jon. Like, of course it's cool that he kills her because he's already shown her for the last 3 episodes he doesn't even love her. He's just doing some shit that he agreed to. It's like killing your substitute teacher. You're like, okay, I'm gonna behave. But what if they were in love? What if she was pregnant? What if something happened what if he had to kill his pregnant wife because that was the best thing for the realm? Like, whoa.
But that didn't happen.
I know.
Yeah, so
So you got to accept what happened, and what happened was great.
Yes,
Listen,
I know. I love the episode.
But see, you also got to understand that John was going on the same path that Ned Stark went on. He was super loyal, super faithful, super just, I'm righteous. He was like, nah, I'm going to kill you, bitch. Boom. And he snuck her. He broke all his morals to kill Daenerys. So that was the thing. I enjoyed seeing John be like, you know what? I'm going to give you a hug. I'm going to give you the kiss that you've been trying to kiss me all season, and I ain't give you shit. And then boom, knife to the heart. You're dead. I appreciate that.
He did make out with
Yeah, he
her.
had an arc. That's
So
definite.
he did break his morals. That's John has never broken his morals until that moment.
And wait, why is that breaking his morals though?
You're
Because
my
he-
queen.
now-
You're my
yeah.
queen. You killed children. And he tried to justify it. He was justifying everything until that moment. He was like, you know what? Tyrion, you're right. I got to kill this bitch.
Yo, to back up a point where you said, but also how bad they did it, like at the execution thing, is like John essentially, that was his sacrifice. This is me. I'm gonna kill you for the betterment of everyone, and by doing it, I'm no longer gonna be able to get on the throne,
Yeah.
right?
But he never wanted it.
But they never actually fucking said that shit.
But he never wanted it.
He never wanted the throne.
So he wasn't like, to him, he wasn't giving it up. He was just doing what he felt was better for the entire realm. Tyrion convinced him that you know what is right and she doesn't. And then when I think in that last scene when she says they don't get to choose, that was when in his head it clicked like,
Right.
okay, she is not the right person for this. I'm going to kill her. And I don't think he really cared what happened to him because that's always been his brand. Like he's going to do the right thing regardless of what the consequences may be.
And then him and Tyrion are like the silent champions. That's why
Right.
when they brought out the book, that's like the record of what we just watched this entire series.
Right.
Tyrion's not
And
mentioned
Tyrion's-
once,
yeah.
and it's like, oh shit, he's actually like the master manipulator of this entire.
So let's go on to that. What was the point of that?
Yeah, it was bad.
The point of
What
that
was the point? Not whether it was
the point
good
of
or
that
not.
was to show that like you never know about the real like people that pull the strings, right? I think that's what it's supposed to say. Like when we hear the legend of the past Robert's Rebellion or like whatever, we don't know who was really pulling shit. We hear
Right.
about the legend of what's happening,
We hear about the people who made the decisions, not the people who convinced them to.
or
Yeah.
or even just the people
Like
that are
everybody goes, the president bombed this country. They
Right.
don't go. His buddy Frank said it was in his best interest to bomb the country. Right. So, wow, that's interesting. So in that moment, he realizes what he has zero place in history.
But the history is because of him. You know, it's like
Yeah.
But he foreshadowed that when he was a
Right.
prisoner. He was talking to the seven councils. He was like, the realm needs a story.
Right.
This is a story. Doesn't matter what happens. It's a
Yeah.
story. Who has the best story? Bran has the best story.
Oh, I love that.
So his story also got deleted. But if you also think about it, he was a pawn. Like he was a pawn in Sansa's plan. Because
Who?
remember, it's Tyrion.
Ooh, okay. Hot take coming.
Remember earlier in the season when Tyrion first got to Winterfell?
Yeah.
And she was like, why? And Sansa said, why'd you think your sister was going to send armies? That's your sister. You know her better than I do. And she goes, I used to think you was the smartest nigga in Westeros, but you actually a fool.
Right.
And then when he was in when they was in the crypt, and she was talking to him again, he was like, I could be up there thinking of something that might not be thought. And she goes, you would be dead. You would die.
Oh, she shit on him all.
She was in on the whole episode. So go back to last episode when Tyrion walks in on Daenerys and he goes, "You've been betrayed by Varys." She goes, "No, it was Jon Snow." And he goes, "No." And she goes, Daenerys goes, "Who told you?" And he goes, "Sansa." Why did Sansa tell you? Why do you think she trusts you? And he goes, because she trusts me. He goes, why? She trusts you to spread lies? This was all Sansa's plan.
Okay.
So now if you go back to this episode, Sansa goes to Jon. She goes, I'm sorry, but this was the only way for it to happen. So all of this was Sansa's plan. You got to understand who raised Sansa. Littlefinger and Cersei raised Sansa.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
she's
really
been schooled by,
2.0.
she's been
Yeah.
schooled by Cersei. So when you see her at the end of this episode on the throne in the north, that's Cersei.
But she was more apologizing because she agreed to send him to the north.
She
to
was
the Winter High
apologizing
Plaza.
because she
You think it
broke-
was a deeper apology?
She apologized because she started this whole thing. How did the Game of Thrones start? The Game of Thrones started when Littlefinger killed Lord Aaron. And remember, he had Sansa, he was schooling her, he told her the whole plan. You got to go back to that. So this is her plan. She set all of this in motion to get Bran on the throne. Everybody who's in power is a start.
Wait
Yo,
a minute.
hold
Yeah,
on,
but she
hold on.
sounded
Hold on.
like she didn't want Bran on the throne.
Yo,
though.
it sounded like she wanted the throne or she wanted a throne.
She never wanted to go back. Remember, she said, "I'm never going back to King's Landing again."
But she was
I'm
there.
But she went back there because she had to go to make her
Yo,
plan
it
go
seemed
through.
like she wanted the throne, and when they were like,
Dorn.
"You're not going to get it," she was like, "All right, well then we're
She
gonna
just
have our
wanted-
own
She just
thing."
wanted the North. She always wanted the
Yo, when
North.
she told dude to sit down,
You have
she
to
was
see.
great.
That was
She just wanted
hilarious.
the
By the
North.
way,
That's how I felt in the elevator with Marco.
You got,
Robin Aaron.
By the way, come on,
Robin juiced
Bro.
up.
He really did.
Bro.
He really
Robin had
did.
the glow up.
I know. Hair was
I
all
almost
nice
stood,
and
I
nice.
almost stood up and nominated Robin Aaron.
That Giants milk made dude was living life
Yo, he looked good.
in the veil, bro.
Look good, man. Be getting ready.
Yo,
Training.
He's
I thought
sucking
there
on.
was a
He's sucking on
chance.
some real titties now.
Oh, for real.
Yeah, I thought Brienne was pregnant when she was writing in that book. I thought she
So
was pregnant.
I was a little
Father
bit.
of my child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. So you think this is a very spicy hot take right here? You think that this whole thing was designed? The whole story is designed by Sansa to
Yes.
free the North from the realm.
Yes.
Whoa.
I mean, that was definitely her. I think that was definitely her agenda.
Remember the conversation
But-
with Daenerys and Sansa.
Yeah.
She goes, "We'll follow you if you give us the North. The North will never bend the knee again. We'll never bend the knee again."
When do you think that idea took place for her? What season?
When she's in the council.
What?
In the scene, I think we're giving her too much credit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why it's taking spicy. Like if you think from season one,
You're
that's-
giving her too much credit. Remember last season when Jon was going to war and she was like, "Just listen to me." She won the Battle of the Bastards. Who won the Battle of the Bastards? Not Jon.
No, Sansa.
Sansa
Yeah.
won Battle of the Bastards. She's like, "You need to listen to me. I'm smarter than you think. I'm smarter than you think. No one listens to me." And she goes, "You went over there to this dragon queen and you bent the knee after we done said we'll never bend the knee again.
Yeah.
We'll never bend the knee again." So this was all her plan. She's conniving.
But what happens if? All right, let's say Tyrion doesn't have that intervention with Jon and convince him to kill Dany. What happens then to Sansa's plan?
Sansa was gonna make her plan. She said, remember at the beginning, she said the whole north is outside these gates.
So she was just
We
lined
ready,
up.
we ready to go.
But if John didn't bend the knee, Danny would have never came to Winterfell to defend him.
She understood that had to happen, but she was like, "You this your queen now? You said you were gonna go get these soldiers to come fight.
But look,
You ain't say you was gonna bend the knee."
She
and
knew
say
that
she
he
did.
was going to bend the knee, though.
She did.
She
but
knew he was
pissed
going to bend
about
it. And she was
pissed about
furious,
it.
but she knew. And there was even that line where it was something about, love makes you do stupid
Right.
things or whatever.
Yeah.
So she knew he was going to bend the knee. But this is really interesting. Like, this is interesting to, like, peel back the game, right? And look at everybody's objective in the game. Just because, this is very interesting. Because everybody has something that they want. Obviously, with Dany was the easiest. It was the Iron Throne, right? Sansa just free the North. So all these other things are happening, and she's
Sansa's
going
the queen of the North. She's
fair,
the
or
only queen in the- she's the only
the Queen of the North, right? But it's like so basically, she's cooking things up like, okay, I don't care about like the slaves being freed and marine. That means nothing to me. Once it comes over here, this is the only thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to cook things up. And you know what? Maybe rushing the season made that a little bit too foggy. It could have been
No,
way
yeah.
more
I'm curious
present.
to see
Yeah.
when the book
Foggy.
comes out if that's something that's more really fleshed out in the book. I'm curious to see.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
Have we spoken about this? Because I've had so many Game of Thrones conversations. I always think they're Westerbros by the time we come here. But I
about
think
to
both of
mention-
those books are done.
That's the hot take right now.
That's my theory, right? Is I think he finished both the books, right? And then the publisher, he's talking to publisher. He's like, "Yeah, let's get these out." And they're like, "No, stupid."
So they had
And
the
they're
guy.
like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "Listen, this is about to be the biggest show in the world. You let them be the biggest show in the world. We know the books are going to be different than how they do the thing."
They don't
And
want
now
to ruin the ending.
Was that one time?
You want to ruin the ending too now, right?
No, I think they might have a similar ending, just because they
No,
told
but
them.
why he didn't roll the books up ahead of the
Maybe
show?
Because-
HBO cut
because
a
he
check and
wants-
was like, guys, those books don't come out.
No,
until we air
no.
it.
Back it up. This is what I would do, right? If I'm writing a book, right, and you see exponential growth on a TV show that's based on a book, right? I have 2 more books left. The TV show is going to go on without it, right? You have fans that are having podcasts like us. There are tons of YouTube videos. Everybody wants to know what this George R. R. Martin guy really has to say, right? And we'll accept the HBO version, but there's a real version. Why not let the show reach a critical mass, then drop the books?
Well, also why
Because
not?
now you have 150 million people that are going to buy the books instead of 100 million that we're going to buy at season 6. So as a
Correct. No,
businessman,
I get that.
yeah.
But also, why not when you're selling the books, advertise it as the real ending, the ending that
And
was
then you
promised.
get the
Right.
exactly. So it's like
So
you-
Robin Aaron's then.
So there's still a chance,
I got
right?
I'm
All I'm
with you
saying
on
is
this.
business wise, that's what I would have done. And I just find it hard to believe like this guy knows
It's way too
exactly
long.
what's going on. Come on,
So
B.
the actor who plays Sir Barristan Selmy, like an old British dude character actor,
Not
was
happy.
in a not
I
happy
saw
about his
that.
character.
So I got
Yeah.
But
not
in
happy.
in that interview, he's close with George, I guess, and he said he has confirmation that the 2 books are finished. And then after the fact, George came out and said, "I haven't finished the books." He doesn't know what he's talking about, which sounds
I
like he's
knew
covering up
it,
his
bro.
tracks.
Alex, have I not been saying that shit?
You have been.
Yo,
You guys are gonna read the books?
hell
Oh,
yeah!
I'm reading that. So I was always like, from the
I'm
start of the show,
I'm gonna start at set.
Here's the thing,
The
I'm gonna
last
look at
two.
how long the audio version
I
is.
ain't
And
gonna
when
read
I
those
see
books anyway.
when I see it's 4,000 hours, I'm be like, all right, someone will just tell me what it's about.
yeah.
No, I'll listen
was-
to them books. I'll listen. Oh, why don't they have the actors voice the audio books?
That'd be so complex.
That'd be dope.
Wouldn't that be dope though?
To pull that off, they'd have to pay them like at this point.
Yo, can we talk about how Cersei got paid $1 million an episode to
Nah,
drink
it's
wine?
500,000.
To drink wine.
Yeah.
I mean, she was only
What,
in
that's
like 2
okay?
episodes.
No,
This
I'm
bitch
just
is
saying.
literally on a
I
balcony
saw that
going,
came out and then
But
like
she was only in like 2 episodes a season though.
Oh wait, I thought she's in every one.
Nah,
Nah,
she
she
was.
was-
No, they had the whole Battle of Winterfell. She wasn't in the single.
Oh,
Yeah.
sneaky.
But
sneaky.
again, that's the problem, right? Like when I saw Cersei and Jaime in the rubble, I was completely numb to it. Maybe Jaime a little more affected by it, but Cersei, I was like, I thought in my mind she'd been dead already because she was gone for so long.
Yeah.
And like her character is literally dead before she died because her character wasn't doing anything.
Right.
Like that we
See,
know her
I
to
love
do.
the way Cersei died. She died in the most meaningless way. No one will sing songs about her. Everybody in Game of Thrones, like, you will go out and do this, and they will sing songs about you, and they risk their life so they go and die for songs to be sung about them. No one's singing a song about the girl who died.
Yeah,
from
but
a
no
pile
one
of
would have
rocks.
known who if
She
someone
died
if someone
a
stabbed her.
feeble, miserable, crying death. The most meek death you could ever have, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I'm super excited though to switch subjects about this episode we just watched because it seems to me like they set up an Arya spinoff.
Or I was
I
going to
hope
say,
not.
what if they go like HBO does this a lot with like
Yeah.
their big shows like Entourage and Sex and the City. Like they go movie route, 1 or 2 movies post show. They kind of left a lot of shit for like
They did.
like
Like what?
all right, the dead body of Dany, right? Like theoretically in this magic realm,
World, yeah.
she could be brought back to life,
Right.
Right. I'm just saying like. We don't know where Drogon is. We don't know what's east or what's west of Westeros. Like, Arya's about to go like on
I
this
thought
new
Westeros
adventure.
was west. I didn't understand that at all. That whole thing.
I guess there's
And that's why I'm saying
West
that's a whole
Westeros.
show. That's a whole show.
yeah no, and they're gonna do spin-offs that
They have
they've
5
announced.
in production.
There's prequels, but there's gonna be sequels too.
Of course.
And Arya's
So-
the fan favorite far and away. Like
Is she?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I
And
am
you
not
see-
drawn
she
to
had
Arya's
t-shirts
character
with
at
the
all.
with the jump man with the knife.
Yeah.
Yo, man, first of all, that's a great shirt.
But I'm saying
great
it's like
shirt.
she's
It's a great shirt.
She's clearly the fan favorite.
But what are we so excited to see her do? What is
Get
compelling?
Get King's Landing cancer.
King's Landing?
No, she's sort of. She's not. She's way less interesting. She's way
Yo, was
less
that
interesting.
snow or ash? Was that supposed to be
It started as ash and then it was snow.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
snow.
remember the Drogon's like shaking off the snow? That was all snow.
I thought that was
I thought it was
Ash.
Ash.
Yo, but like I
Ash.
thought there was snow in King's Landing, and I thought winter's over. Like where the fuck did that?
And
snow
winter
come
is
from?
over because they made sure to tell us when he was going to the wildling spot. Did you guys see that one little weed growing out of the snow?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
So
summer's
winter's
here.
already over?
Summer's here.
As soon as the Night King died, it was over.
That's it. He's bringing winter. Yeah, it's not like how seasons work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Ash.
That was
The
Ash,
whole
right?
episode.
Yeah, that
But
was
that
Ash.
shit like looked. I don't know, man. I got confused like halfway through.
Yo, 2 good dragon reveals in the last 2 episodes. That dragon reveal
What
out of
about-
the Ash was
What about
ill, bro.
what about the imagery of Dany walking up
Loved
before she
it.
dresses like the Third Reich?
Loved it.
And
That was
the
sick.
wings behind her.
Yeah.
Yo, but what about where the fuck did she get that black leather?
John Varvatos is all of a
Bro,
sudden.
That was
Like,
different, right? That was a different
That
outfit.
was that
she
was she
had.
just burnt the whole shit down. She had an outfit change. Where the fuck did she get that
I
shit
don't
from?
know.
That's Beyonce, bro.
Varvatos, bro.
Bro,
Yo.
is there like a little pouch in the back of the dragon that she keeps
Yo, what about-
these outfits in?
Everybody in the council was decked out. Gendry had some like Wolverine.
Yeah, Gendry
like,
was lit. Yeah.
What the fuck was that about?
Gendry been home. He got a whole castle.
Duh.
He
Yeah,
got a whole castle.
man.
And Braun came
New
New
back.
money.
King.
He's been getting
Braun
lit.
doesn't
No,
address.
but that was, dude.
yeah, the whole.
One
It's just
thing
so
like-
empty. Everything.
Whorehouses. We want brothels. Fuck ships, brothels.
Yo, by the way, so I actually love the episode
Okay.
except for the brand thing. I
I mean, that's a pretty big piece of
Why
it.
do you love the episode? Why do you love the
I
episode?
thought it felt like an old Game of Thrones episode. It was like entertaining. Like the John Tyrion scene was like old school Game of Thrones, like that dialogue.
What you mean?
I
in
laughed
that
like
there was a
5
scene?
times.
In that there was an
In that
actual
there was-
scene and they were talking?
Yeah.
That we haven't had that all season?
Yeah, it might have been my favorite episode of the season.
Wow.
Except for the fucking Bran thing. That shit really.
All right, tell me why you hated the Bran thing.
I'm so annoyed that Bran is on the throne.
Why?
He even acted like a dickhead as soon as he got it.
Yeah,
too.
he goes,
Why do you
what
think
was the
I'm
line?
here?
That was fucking
Why do you think I came
stupid.
all this way?
Yeah,
Man, shut the fuck up.
seriously.
I knew you would say that. How annoying would it be to argue with Bran, right? Well, see,
and
you
by the
can't
way-
even kick rocks.
By the way, now he's going to war into fucking Drogon? Or he like
gonna look
alluded
for
to?
Nah,
him.
he's just going to
Say
look
what?
for him.
He's gonna look for
He's
him.
gonna go play video games while Tyrion runs. Like, what really changed,
Bro,
What
Nothing
really changed?
Nothing changed.
it's dumb.
He's still, he's still running around.
I didn't watch-
He's just got Oculus. Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
all
watch
he
8
does.
seasons for Bran, like, and I didn't want
Son.
Sansa to end up on the throne. And quite honestly, when she threw a little fit at the fucking council meeting,
Yo.
honestly, man, I know there's Sansa hive out there, but like, yo, man, fuck Sansa.
Fuck
No,
Sansa.
see, I
Fuck
think
Sansa.
Sansa's running this whole thing.
Great, fuck
You don't
her.
think she controls her little brother?
Dude.
Sansa's the true.
You think she
queen.
controls
Well, the three-eyed
Bran?
Raven, he's supposed to be not
Absolutely.
Bran anymore.
No, he's not
three-eyed
Bran
Raven.
anymore.
You don't
Hold
think she
on.
got control over
No,
him?
she don't.
Yeah,
Not
Now,
Bran.
let's
She might think
let's
she
hear
did.
why you are triggered. Let's hear why. I've never seen Haney this upset.
had to hold him back.
Did you eat yet, bro? I know it's Ramadan, but like, god
Somebody got a
damn,
Snickers?
man.
Somebody got a Snickers?
Fucking, what's his face is playing with no
I mean,
water
why-
or food. You can't do a podcast without getting cranky. What's the guy's name on the Trailblazers?
Cantor.
Yeah, Enos.
Oh, did you? Hey, you may say it.
What?
It's past 8:20.
What?
Nothing.
Or,
Oh, yes,
are
Marco was
you bringing
taking it
facts into
I'm
the
sorry,
front?
bro, logistics of
Are you
Ramadan.
analyzing
I was thinking about the
fun?
logistics
Is that
of
what you're
Ramadan. All right,
doing?
okay.
Thank you, Marco,
All right.
for bringing the facts into the jokes. We always need a fact checker for our jokes over here on Westerbros.
No, Mark, I waited 3 hours. I was so wrapped up in Game of Thrones, I forgot to eat 3 extra hours.
Technically, Ramadan
Your
ends
point.
at
I didn't
8:20
say it
on
like
the
that. I
Eastern
didn't say
Standard
it like
Time.
that. Your point. What were you trying to say?
Go ahead, no, go ahead, bro, go ahead.
No, I just think Sansa not controls
You
him, but
love
she's
Sansa.
very. She's
You are
very
the king of
persuasive.
Sansa Hive.
I'm absolutely Sansa.
Fuck
I think
Sansa
This
Hive.
whole thing was her. She picked up the Game of Thrones that was sparked off by Littlefinger. That's
Right.
what she did. She's playing it, and you got to go back
Yo,
to what
she's been-
Cersei said. Cersei says, "When you play the Game of Thrones, you win and you die." Who was the only person pictured on the throne this episode?
Oh, Sansa.
Sansa. Which throne got burned down? The Iron Throne. There's only one throne in the whole Seven Kingdoms, and that's Sansa's.
So you have the ability. I think what you're talking about is true, but I guess what I'm saying is like, in the old Thrones, that would have been laid out more clear. And that would've-
Absolutely.
and so,
Right,
Absolutely.
and I'm
you-
curious to see if the books
Well, the books
corroborate what
definitely
he
will.
They
said.
have to. They got a
But
lot
you
of
have- You
pages.
have the ability to kind of look at it and be able to see that.
No,
I'm just looking at this episode by episode and going
From what
like,
they gave you.
From what they gave
Yeah.
me, and what they
Yeah,
gave
yeah.
us wasn't
Right.
what
So we
was
got
enough.
two different things going on, which I think is a good point. One is idea, the other is execution. Idea
Yes.
might be that Sansa ran this whole shit from the jump on some Kaiser Sose.
She definitely did.
It could be that. Now, the way they executed that, which probably would have taken minimum 2 full seasons more for like the reveal, like, oh shit, she's really the puppet master. You don't do that in 6 episodes.
Right.
So
But I feel
you
like they
saw
did.
it. You saw it because I think you've been Sansa Hive, and then the rest of us, and I like Sansa, but I was like, all right, this is working out kind of with her, but I don't think that she's orchestrating the whole shit from the jump. That could be what was intended, but you can at least admit that they could have executed it better than they did.
They could have spelled it out more, and I don't think they did that. I think they just left it up for interpretation,
Fair.
which I personally enjoy because you don't mention Sansa in that discussion between Tyrion and Dany if she's not important. You don't mention her. So when at the beginning of the last episode,
Right.
the first thing they do, they
right.
talk about Sansa.
Yeah.
And they show her in that clip.
Yeah.
So you don't mention that or show that if that's not important.
Yeah. Now she wanted that throne, bro. Because she went down to the crypt very quickly. Like
Very quickly.
all the other women in Winterfell was like, I can fight. Even like the little girls were like, I can fight. And Sansa was like, the crypt?
I'm cool.
Word? Is that? Oh, it's downstairs? Word? Okay. Y'all figure it out.
Survive in advance.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? Okay, you hated it, that episode.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Tell us
I didn't
why.
like it at all. All right. So
It was like the sigh on that Drake disc.
oh man,
the audacity.
All right, go talk to us.
So Tyrion has now gone from death row to hand of the king twice. Like that whole concept
times.
is tired 3 times.
3 times.
3 times. That whole concept is like
including
extremely tired to me now. Right? That's number 1. Number 2, listen.
What were those times, just so we can?
The first one
Joffrey.
was to Joffrey,
Right.
right? And then he went. I guess he was a
Slave
prisoner
to
of
Dany.
John to
Dan-
Jorah
that's
to
right.
Dany.
Yeah,
And then this again. Here he is in custody,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Then he's the one who's also has to fight for his own life, theoretical justice, and Grey Worm clearly wanted justice.
Right.
Like he became the one that just everyone listened to.
Yeah. Smartest man in the realm. I think that's what they're trying to say, but I understand that they've done it a few times.
But what is it? But the other people who are sitting there, what is their relationship to Tyrion? Why they feel compelled to listen to him?
I think
they
they-
don't fucking know him.
I think the writers would like you to believe that they are so wowed by his brilliance that
His
they.
reputation.
His reputation is, as we talked about this before, is unknown, right? The other thing that happened, which I also didn't like at the end of
Ooh,
this,
it's
was
unknown?
the Battle of Blackwater. No one knows Tyrion was the real hero of the Battle of
Tyrion
Blackwater.
wasn't
They
the real
made-
hero
back
of the
to-
Battle of Blackwater.
Let me guess, Sansa.
He had a major contribution.
No, he didn't. What
He
did he
came
do?
up with the whole wildfire plan.
They did Blackwater.
He came up with the whole wildfire
Tywin.
plan.
It was Tywin and the Tully army who was the king.
But if
who
they
was the
didn't
great-
have,
no,
they
no,
would
no,
have
no,
sacked
no,
it. They would have sacked it if
when
Tyrion.
they swooped in, where was Tyrion? On the ground with his face split open.
But he held them off
he
long
got-
enough
he
for
got
them to
lucky.
come.
He came up with the battle
It would have
plan.
been over
He got
before
lucky.
they came.
He was about to lose. He was about to die.
Yo.
Anti-Tyrion, all
He
in
was
on
about to
Sansa.
die. He was about to
Interesting.
If he
die.
had
You don't fuck with Tyrion.
if he had a bad battle plan, well, 2 things.
He
One
had
is,
a bad battle plan because they lost.
well, he
They
held the,
lost the battle. The only reason they won the Battle
Yo,
of Blackwater was
but the
because
scoreboard said-
Tywin
at the end of the
and
game,
the
the scoreboard
Tullys came and
said one.
swooped in.
It
But,
does
all
say
right, so
W,
the
though.
show-
The scoreboard does say
but
W.
the show,
Blackwater Bay W.
that's fine. But
does,
the,
it does, it
the
does.
It's like
show,
America in the Revolutionary War. It's like we lost a lot of them
Tyrion
battles,
was
but
Jordan.
we
Tyrion
got
was
it.
Michael Jordan, right?
and Steve Kerr
And-
was Tywin.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
That's exactly where I was
That's
going.
good. But like
Thank
Jordan
you.
still had 40 in that game.
Yeah.
That's
You
the thing,
think
right?
Tyrion had 40 when he ended
I don't know. I
up?
would say he had a good 30. on a hell of an efficiency.
So let's go back to that battle. Let's go back to that
The
battle.
advanced metrics were crazy.
They blew up the ships. The soldiers came to. The
He
soldiers
didn't score
came-
30,
He
but
did.
you know what he did? He limited their best player to 15.
But I see what you're saying. My point is the
He
show.
played good D.
I see what you're saying. I think there's an
You gotta
argument
give
there.
me
The
that.
problem I have is that what the show wanted you to feel that he got shafted when they talk about him. Why I'm trying to be serious. Why are you laughing at me?
I love it.
But the show.
No fucks.
That's what I think. That's what I thought. The ending was an ode to that. Was that he was not going to be mentioned. Any record of him being involved was expunged. Like that was like Joffrey's thing. Like no one would ever know that Tyrion was even there. Forget it that he gave that big speech or whatever. So then at the end, it's the same thing. He's not there. So I forgot where we were going with this, but
You were tired of that same trope where he goes
And
from
you were like, why are they
Right.
listening to him even at the
and why are they
council?
even exactly? Because the other people from the Robin from the Vale, the all the different other lanes, like they don't have a relationship to Tyrion. So that's that I didn't understand. Bran the Broken's just like a terrible name.
What a
It's
stupid
insulting.
name.
I hate that.
Like
name,
that's just
bro.
like
It is
insulting.
an insult,
I hate that
bro.
name.
I mean,
Yeah.
insensitive.
Yeah.
You know, it was a great name was when he called him Lord of Lofty Titles. When
That's great.
Davos called Bronn Lord of Lofty Titles.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
That shit was fun.
Davos was
it.
like, I don't know if I get a vote, but that was great. So that was the thing. And then the other thing was like, where did we really end up? Because like
Right
at
back
the
where we
end,
fucking started, except
you
for
have a king who I like. I don't know. I know that there's things in the books that reveal things about Bran that just people who watch the show don't know about him.
Right.
He didn't really inspire a lot of confidence in me that like he's going to be a good leader. First, he had like kind of a dickhead comment that he was like, "Oh yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm going to be king." Duh.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
And then he's sitting there. He's like, "All right, everyone's here. All right, you know what? I'm going to go look at this fucking dragon." Like,
Yeah.
No, he literally was like, I have better things to do.
which is to look for a dragon. Like, I don't understand the significance.
That's what all the kings did.
Right. So
So
we're right
what-
back where we started.
Right, exactly.
He wants to do some shit that he wants to do, which is like look for a dragon, fine, play video games, whatever.
Yeah.
Tyrion is now back being the hand. You have fucking Bronn wants to build brothels. Like
Yeah,
we went all
no,
the
we're
way
going right back.
backwards.
But that's also, I think,
And
maybe.
then John goes to the wall to really put the cherry on the cake here.
Well, he goes to be a wildling.
He's the king
But
beyond
at the
the
time,
wall.
the
like
king beyond
but
the
in
wall.
theory, they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna send you back to the wall. You fucked up."
But
Well,
that's the cost of.
But the back to the wall was a move, right? That was a move by Sansa, and I'll give Sansa credit for that one. That was like, hey, this is going to be the punishment. You get life in prison. Grey Worm goes, all right, bet that works. And then the second he's there, it's like,
If I'm John, I'm telling you, trial by combat. Tell Grey Worm to come get some. That's how I would have done that shit.
And if it was 8 episodes, we would have had it.
I would have loved to see Grey Worm in Nath, though. I would have loved to see him like chilling on the beach, some brothel chick massaging his ears. I would have loved to see that.
Yeah.
You also need to understand though about Tyrion. The
back.
Blackwater battle, when Tyrion was knocked out for like 2 weeks, and then Varys came back and he was like, yeah, Tywin won the war. You didn't do shit. So there was no record of Tyrion ever winning the war. And since then, he has done nothing.
Right. I'll agree. He's been trash.
He's
been trash, yeah.
So that's why he's not in this book.
But he's not even in the book at the end when he was the one who organizes the murder of Dany, and he,
because he's a prisoner. They probably were like, oh, they voted. They were so wise. They voted brand new.
The only person that knows Blackwater is Varys. Remember, Varys said, at least I know who really won the war.
Right.
And the other thing was, they say, she says when she's talking about breaking the wheel, Starks and Targaryens and Baratheons, and I go, well, now
it's just Starks.
Now it's just Starks. We're right back. Now it's just Starks. What I said, I got the names right.
No, you got the names right, but you turned into a Long Island housewife. It was Starks and Targaryens and the Battle of Blackwaters. It's too much. How many clams must I make?
You're making me nauseous.
I can't make enough clams for everybody. These Starks, they just eat clams all day.
All right.
No, I mean, I guess that's also kind of the point is like, if you're not going to go the radical route, which was definitely Dany in this case,
Yeah.
it's inevitable that it's going to go back to some kind of
Question.
right.
Did you guys think it was cool that Dany was killed pretty early in the episode?
Yo, I did because I didn't think she would die at that second. So that I knew she would die this episode. I didn't think she would die. I thought she would die like 35 minutes later.
Nah,
I mean,
So when I heard the, I was like, oh shit!
You really didn't see that coming?
No, I saw
not at that second. I
When,
did not
when
see
they
it coming.
played the Disney music and it was they were making out, I was like, it's happening right now.
What music? I don't ever hear the fucking
You
music.
never hear the
Turn
Rains
the
of Castle,
volume up,
man?
bro.
Yeah,
Put that baby in another room. Turn the volume up, fam. God damn.
No, that was the exact prophecy. I knew when I saw her walking, I was like, okay, that's gonna happen because when she goes in that prophecy, she walks out the door and that's her dying.
So speaking of prophecies, then who was the prince that was promised?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So here's my.
I don't know. So
Here's
please
my
tell me.
Arya or John, we got to make a decision.
Here's my hunch.
Okay.
The princess who was promised
Right, because it's whatever.
is Sansa. she
Shocking.
who in this show was promised anything?
Yo, is Joe Jonas paying you right now?
Wait, let me break down my theory. And I'm drinking this Sansa Kool-Aid.
Fucking Jonas money is serious.
That's how you got the pool.
Yo, he's in all the wedding photos. He's in all the wedding photos.
Wait, who was promised? Sansa was promised the throne. She was promised to Joffrey.
Yeah.
She didn't get Joffrey. She
Yep.
never married Joffrey. She ended up marrying Marjorie. She was promised mercy. She never got promised mercy. Her dad never got mercy. She was promised by Littlefinger that he would never do harm. She got raped by
Everybody.
by dude.
Everybody.
Literally everybody.
Yeah.
So the only prince or princess who was promised anything was Sansa, who was also the only one on the throne. The princess who was promised.
So
Sansa.
the prince was promised was just wrong.
The prince was promised.
That's how you interpret it.
That's how you interpret it.
Okay, so where's the sword that's bearing light? in the
I
prophecy?
think that was John. That was John. Enter Nissa, pull it out, and it was Lightbringer, which is why the throne melted down.
And what about the ending of the long night, the dark night, or whatever?
Well, now it's over.
Long night.
It's
Right,
over.
but Arya was the one who ended it.
Yeah, John should have got the Night King. I don't know, but whatever.
So we're just all over the place with this prophecy coming true.
Okay.
It's metaphorical.
Let's break down this prophecy again. One prophecy was
Hang on one second.
That
I'm
you
gonna
were
pull up the
speaking
exact
of?
prophecy.
that a prince was going to end the long night.
The prince
No,
was promised.
Azor Ahai is the prince that was promised, right?
Right.
And part of the prophecy is that. Hang on one second.
The show stopped using the term around season like 5, but
Okay.
it was mentioned all the time initially.
Yeah.
By the Red Witch, she would always talk about the prince that was promised.
Right. And
That's
then
one.
the prince who was
Okay.
promised was going to do all these things that Jack's going to read us now.
I don't know.
So it's Arya, because that's who. when she was like, "You're gonna kill green eyes, blue eyes, red eyes."
But that wasn't the prince was promised. That was just
Okay, ready?
some shit that she said to him. I think that was I thought that was coincidence. I think they called back to that line. That was purely coincidence. I think when they wrote that shit, they had no intention of that actually being like, oh, blue eyes for White Walkers. That was convenient, I think.
All right, here's the prophecy.
Interesting.
There will come a day after a long summer when the stars bleed and the cold breath of darkness falls heavy on the world. In this dread hour, a warrior shall draw from the fire a burning sword, and that sword will be Lightbringer. The red sword of heroes, and he who clasps it shall be Azor Ahai come again, and the darkness shall flee before him.
And that's the only prophecy.
That's the like main Azor Ahai prophecy in the books translated through like Valyrian or whatever.
High Valyrian.
Old Valyrian, High Valyrian.
It's like the Bible, though. It's like when you say some...
Sure, but
I was
like...
about to say some shit in the Bible. It's like the Bible. When you say something in the Bible, it says one thing, but it means something totally different.
Right. So we can fit somebody into that prophecy.
So after the long summer, which was what everyone existed,
right,
comes the cold night, which was the Night King that came through, and then the kill the prince, which was Daenerys, and then peace comes to the realm. Azor Ahai.
So then Jon Snow is the prince who was promised.
It's either Jon or Arya, depending on how you interpret
what the darkness was, yeah.
Ah.
She literally ended the darkness by killing the Night King.
By killing the Night King.
But is the darkness Dany or is the darkness Night King?
I don't fucking know. I'm lost.
I say Night King.
Literally, yeah, we can take that as probably the closest.
I think they stopped running with it. I don't think they...
Yeah, I think they dropped the ball.
Any other thoughts?
I think we should go broader.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about episode and just talk about the series now because the series is done.
Before we do that, I want to get Weezy's take on it. Weezy, would you come here and tell us for a second how you felt about the Game of Thrones?
Look at gangbang scene. There's 5 of you.
Jesus
God.
Christ!
Whoa.
Well, on that
Whoa.
note,
Now
I'm
we
gonna
have
take
to
this.
make
I'll be
it
right back.
sexual.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
Al,
Yeah.
I am doing a sexisode on Game of Thrones, though.
you are?
Yeah, it's for my Patreon, but because Mandy doesn't watch. But there's so many fetishes and like different deviant shit, and I feel like I want to break down all the scenes because Pornhub has it anyway.
Hold on one second. Let Haney speak on the mic.
Oh shit.
We got it. Go on.
So yeah, I want to do a Game of Thrones sexisode and talk about like the bisexual threesome with the Doran guy and
And you've watched from the beginning.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on this last episode?
Super disappointed.
Why?
I felt like, especially even when I'm upset and angry at the episode in a good way, right? When like all these fucking kids are burning last week.
Right.
I'm enraged. I can feel it. I felt nothing. I wanted to grab my phone and look at Twitter.
There wasn't a lot of emotional connection for this episode.
Not at all.
What about the moments
that
between the
music
brother
was
and
really
sister? Like when John would hug Sansa or hug Arya, and there was these moments
That
where
I thought was great. I actually didn't mind how it ended. I didn't mind the brand thing, but I just felt he was fixing the chairs. Yeah, I liked it. I liked that moment, but he was fixing the chairs. Just think about that for a minute. It had no significance. An hour and a half.
he's
you spent.
nervous.
But come on. Do something else. Have Dany die with some more blood. Give me more than that. The dragon shit, that was great.
But maybe the point is life goes on. Right? Maybe the point is it continues. This is part of the existence. Fucked up shit happens, but we got to keep on moving.
Then why
And
make
for
it
that,
so
you go
intense
back to
this
the
entire
Maesters.
time?
Remember when Sam was at the Maesters and he was like, they always say the kingdom's going to end, but it never does.
Right.
That's a good
It
point.
never does.
Yeah.
They always say the kingdom's going to end. Remember that one time that happened? Remember that one time this happened? It never does. It always goes. It always goes.
I will tell you what this episode was. I was embarrassed to tell people that I've been investing this much time in it. Imagine if you started watching Game of Thrones this season just to check it out. You'd be like, what the fuck is this? This is stupid. There was nothing exciting. Bullshit. You could have someone sit in your house while you were watching any other Game of Thrones episode and they'd be like, oh shit, what is this? No.
But they shouldn't be able to enjoy this in and of itself, in my opinion.
Shouldn't we feel closure?
I would actually say the fault of it is maybe you can enjoy it without it's so surface level this season that you don't really need to know a lot.
Actually,
of
this is a great point.
The Walking Dead watchers hopped on board. And
Right.
That's what they
It's
made
more
it.
accessible.
They turned it into.
Here was the main. Here's the main complaint of people watching season 1. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I had to convince a lot of people to watch it.
They got to get
because
invested.
They watched the first 3 episodes and like, I have no idea what's going on. It's so dense. There's all these characters. They're all doing different shit. What is going on?
Yeah.
Right. And that's the testament to how good it was, because when you get invested and you put the time in, you're like, holy shit, there's
It's
so much shit
on,
here.
yeah.
This season was the opposite of that. And I feel like this was like the most commercialized, mainstream storybook version of Game of Thrones,
Fucking
right?
Jerry Bruckheimer.
So I would argue that it's actually more accessible because of that. Like, you could just tune in and be like, oh, there's a dragon.
But was that really what HBO wanted? More accessible? Like, dude,
No,
we
what
all
HBO
fucking started
wanted
paying for it
wanted
again.
was- wanted to go as
14
long
more
as-
seasons
as
of
the-
this, but they weren't
going
going to do it.
have it, or would you rather have what we have now?
I would rather not have this version of it.
Me too.
Hold on. So the question is, would you rather they just stopped making the show
Yeah.
or have this?
Or finish the actual
If it
story.
took them another 10 years to give me good shit,
I want
give
them
me 10
to
years, bro.
finish
Okay,
the
so
show.
if
I
they-
think
if they had to call this
one
how
The way that
thing-
Harry Potter
hold on.
works, think about
One
it.
thing is, this, I would obviously want a conclusion versus nothing, but I feel like there are ways to make a better conclusion. And I guarantee once that those novels drop, HBO is going to license them shits again, and they're going to run it right back.
I don't think they wanted to do it with different showrunners. So they was
They better.
I see.
I think if there's anything we learned is that the talent is George R. R. Martin, not the
Yes.
showrunners.
Yes.
Because the second the showrunners had to do it by themselves, all of us started losing our shit, going, these episodes suck.
Well, they didn't want to do it.
Well, then let someone
Why is
else
that
do
our
it.
problem?
That's what's crazy about, like, you know what's so crazy to me is there's this character that they're literally writing, which is Tyrion, right? Who gets written out of history, right? And he has to check his ego, right? He has to check his own ego.
And they can't do it.
And they couldn't even fucking do it, you blind pieces of shit. You could just hand this off to other capable storytellers. There's a lot out there.
By the way, on the staff, there's other writers that have written, a bunch of episodes. That
Done.
Brian Cogman. Pass it over
You
to
know
him.
what's
know
sad
the
about
names.
that? The
I don't know
actors
the
are
names.
so good.
Yeah.
Sophie
Fantastic.
Turner's 23.
Yeah,
but that's
Incredible.
meaningless.
Right? I mean, think about that.
actors-
no, it isn't meaningless.
actors are
They
meaningless.
brought
Grew up
all
with
of
so
that
many
feeling.
No.
She can't do it either. She
Actors
got-
are meaninless.
But my point, I mean, we watch King Joffrey, we watch all these people bring all of this energy into that, and you're telling me you have these great people we've watched that
No,
long,
but
and you gave them this?
It's
Here's
not.
the thing.
That's why they left a Starbucks cup. They don't give a fuck.
No, I think they did it on purpose. But the thing about the actors is, like, it doesn't matter how good an actor is if the story sucks.
That's my point. You put these people to waste. You've invested so much time. You've made them amazing at their
It's
craft.
not fair to the. You're saying it's not fair to the
That's what
actor.
I'm saying.
Oh.
Imagine.
Like for their
okay,
arcs,
yeah.
I understand why the actor who plays Varys is pissed off about his character going out the way he did, right?
Yeah.
Or like Sir Barristan or whoever it is. Basically, every actor. There's a 3-minute compilation of every actor on the show complaining
Being
about
disappointed
this.
about it. Yeah, it's great.
But going back to like if I could, if I had the 2 options, would I wait or would I just take this version?
Yeah.
Like, if you told me that at the end of the last season when we were like, oh my God, we got to wait 1.5 years, what the fuck? I would have been like, give
And
it
we
to me
waited.
now. But we
That's
waited.
what I'm more
So like,
pissed off
why not just wait a little longer?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, we waited 1.5 years for this. That's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
what
That's
I'm more
maybe
pissed
what
off
makes it
about,
worse.
Is that I waited 2 years for this rushed season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're gonna wait, give us
Rush
2
it right
years.
away.
Rush it right away. And
was the point?
But at the same time, we still got 2 of the best Game of Thrones episodes we ever had.
in what?
The Bells. Last episode,
All right,
episode 5.
I'll agree with that.
That was one of the
I'll
best
agree with that.
episodes
I love that.
in the
I love
history
that
of the
episode.
show.
By best, don't get me wrong.
Wait, what was the other one?
I don't think best means
I
like
like this
over.
episode.
I love this,
This episode's
but you
great.
got to feel it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say one of the best, but I liked it. It was
It's
good.
really good.
But
Not even in the top
5
10.
was the shit.
5 was the shit.
And episode 5, you didn't like
Not
episode
even-
You don't
Not-
think this one
I
was the
wouldn't say
best?
it was like a
episodes
top.
of all
I
time?
wouldn't say it was like a top 5
First of all,
episode.
best episode.
Absolutely. Absolutely was.
Best episode of the entire season was the season 6 finale.
Top 5 episodes. Go.
In my opinion,
Go.
Winds of
now I
Winter?
gotta.
You
Winds
go,
of
then
Winter,
you'll go next.
Season 6 finale when Cersei kills the cathedral full
Fire.
of a bunch of main
Fire.
characters. Second, Battle of Blackwater, maybe Battle of the Bastards. One of the battles, right?
3.
Let's put that in there.
Sure.
What about the Mountain and the Viper?
Dude, that
Fulber
was
and
sick.
Martell.
Fulber Martell.
That was
Incredible
sick.
episode.
That was
What
fucking
about the Lion
sick.
and the Rose? Or I think it's called the Lion and the Rose, where Joffrey dies.
Yep.
Incredible episode.
Red
I'm
Wedding.
waiting to
Did we
see
even
if you're
talk
going to
about
say the
Red
one I'm
Wedding?
thinking
It's
about.
gotta be in there. You're saying all
Hard Home.
Hard Home, incredible.
Amazing, bro.
Whoa.
Come
You
at me,
guys
bro.
didn't
Hold
enjoy
on.
the one
What
where
was your
Cersei
top
got the
5?
shit thrown
That
on
was
her?
the
Shame. That's the one after.
Shame
yeah,
was amazing.
Winds of Winter. That first 8 minutes with Cersei getting ready was
He's back.
Yo, he was doing so well too.
He was doing so well.
I was getting excited.
Bro, he said Targaryen. He said all of them perfectly.
Cersei.
And then Cersei. Yeah.
Cersei.
Yeah. Cersei.
That was like the
Hey,
best
you wanna
8
get in
minutes
here?
of television I've ever
I'm curious to
seen.
know, why don't you like Arya?
I like her.
Why don't you
like
have
her.
a...
He saw her in LA once. She said she walked weird. It was a whole thing for him.
What?
Oh wait, that was off the tape.
No,
Did you take that?
she walks on LeBron
You know,
James.
this show is so important to
She
me as a
walks
woman.
like LeBron James.
Because
that,
there's
like
so
this.
many strong women. As much as I hated Cersei, I enjoyed
best.
I love
seeing her.
Cersei. I was
character in
rooting
the
for
show.
Cersei.
Yeah.
Arya, what does she do? It's so unbelievable. That you're
her-
you're
No.
4'11". You
Unbelievable.
don't have that vertical. There's no way that
Arya's
you're that
badass.
good with the weapons.
You're
I don't
wilding.
mind that. No,
she's
I don't
she's
like that.
4'11", so how tall is Tyrion? But we love him.
Because he's smart. He's not ninjaing people to death.
He's
Brianna
smart.
Tarth bodies motherfuckers because she's 6'4".
And Arya,
she's Val
and
Kilmer.
Arya
is fucking
body
killer,
Brianna
bro.
Tarth.
Yeah.
though.
Yo, but Arya's too little. Like, I don't buy it. I
No,
don't buy
that's
nothing
fine with
about
that.
it.
Good.
No, but you got to enjoy that part of it.
There's
yo.
nothing romantic about it. It's like, what? I can't follow that.
I
There's
didn't
no
like
love
watching
story.
her fuck, but
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like,
you know. And Sansa, I totally agree with you. Those setting up shit. I love how they've played out women in this shit. What's the old lady's name? The grandma.
Olenna.
There
Lady
we go.
Olenna.
All
Yeah.
of them was
She was
bomb.
great.
She was
What's her
amazing.
name that I wanted to fuck? The Dorn chick that died with her daughter.
Yeah,
oh, that
with
was
that
good.
kid.
I would have loved to see her body in the basement though, because she was still in the basement watching her daughter die.
I
That's
was
what
waiting
they
for it.
wasted that whole
that,
shit,
One of
bro.
the sickest ways.
That
I
would've
would have
been
loved
good.
to see her
Oh,
in
that
the
was
basement.
such a good
like,
episode.
But
someone like run by her and them just two bodies in the basement.
That'd
I'd
be
love to see
perfect.
that.
By the way,
You
who
said
was
you
the
loved
Dorne
it.
representative in the council in this episode?
That was the Prince of Dorne.
Okay.
He's just a new
Yeah,
hairy.
yeah.
Okay.
You didn't miss that flowing hair?
No, I didn't see
Bro,
the
my
flowing hair.
man's chest.
Woof.
Yeah, yeah, full.
Chest mouth.
Everyone's in all
bush.
black.
Yeah.
He's in
All
like,
out there.
he's
Also,
like
what was
that
up with the
yellow.
lack of sex this season? Like,
Yo,
you
when-
give me rape in the first one.
I don't know. I had all the sex I could have with Jamie and
Yeah, no.
that
When
was
they ran
big
the
sex.
I don't want to see no Arya pussy.
when they ran the
Or Brienne.
pre-episode, they go like violence, nudity. There was
Yeah.
no nudity. I had a single tear. It was like, all right,
You
we
knew
I
it.
really
there's
wanted to
no
see
more
Brienne's
nudity.
Nobody's
nipple,
fucking-
and I kind of was a little upset. I'm like, wow,
I
really?
did.
You give me
I was good on
clavicle?
that. She was fucking. She was a big girl. She's a big woman.
I just
Where's
I
the big
feel like
woman?
there's so much shit in Game of Thrones that
Left
they
on the
didn't
table.
give me. Like,
Left on the table.
you know what I
There's a few
mean?
things that I didn't get that I wanted. Like I wanted Brienne to go above the wall and go back and be with Tormund. I thought that would have been dope. Since,
Yes.
Oh,
since
she goes.
since Jamie broke her heart.
Yo,
Yo.
pretty blonde dudes was obviously her type.
Yeah, that's
You know
what
what I'm saying?
she's
Like, she
staying
was
in the
fucking
realm.
hooked.
Yeah,
Yeah, she'll find another one. Yeah.
But all right, so what do we think about her rewriting Jamie's story?
What do you mean?
I like that.
Oh, I love that.
I liked it. She like did a wiki like
No, then
a
fuck Jamie. What's the
Ultimately-
big deal? Why is everyone so concerned about Jamie's legacy?
because he's good looking women like good looking
Ultimately,
people.
And he
no,
ignited
yeah,
her.
but
We
here's
got
the
a
deal.
soft spot for that. You know what I mean?
Jamie did all that shit. What she didn't write is like at the end he went back to the bitch.
Yes, he did. She wrote that.
She did. She said he died,
died
in
protecting his queen.
He did write that.
All right, well,
That's
then
what I
good.
thought was so dope about it. Because I would have been selling them out. I'd have been like, the arm fell off.
I mean, she didn't lie. She didn't lie. He died protecting his queen. That's what he did. I
No,
don't
but it is
understand.
funny
But
that she
that's what
could have
was so
used it as an
emotional about it.
opportunity.
But
to
she
shit
could
all
have
over
been
her.
petty, 'cause I would've did it.
She could have been petty. You're right.
Dick
Right.
ain't even that big.
That's what I'm saying.
Comes mad fast. Like, I don't even understand why you sweat him in the first place. You know, the best part about him is that stump on his arm.
Did he finger her with the gold hand?
No, he takes it off.
You can get fisted with that.
What do you guys think happened to all the ravens that Varys sent out?
Yo, what happened? I don't know. I'm assuming that they were all. I guess they went out to everyone, right? Is that who they went
No,
out
so
to? All
everyone
the
at that
lords.
council probably knew
So
that
I guess
John,
they knew who
about
John. I guess
John's
that's how they
lineage.
knew who John was and everything.
You know,
Ah.
I really
That's a
thought
good
this
point.
show was going to be over until the more I sit here, there's so many questions that are unanswered. It's like, did they do it on purpose or they just don't give a
Oh,
fuck?
I'm sure part of it's on purpose. Like leave it open for the sake of
When
another
she said, I
episode.
want to figure out what's West, then I was
Yo,
like, okay.
West of Westeros.
Y'all about to come out with the movie.
West of Westeros. Yo, she's not interesting without her revenge narrative.
That's what I'm saying. It's
she's
boring.
not
Like,
interesting anymore.
you just
No,
want
now
to
she's
see her
trying to
kill
unravel.
her.
I don't want to see fucking parts unknown
Taking out
Arya.
Walder Frey. That's the best. I know.
Who gives a fuck? Her walking around eating food in Western Westeros.
She doesn't like anyone.
She can't kill anyone because she has no reason to be walking around killing people.
Right.
If that's the case, then she's a scumbag.
Yeah, she's a scumbag.
But hold up. Maybe she's going to maybe the town is going to be fucked up west of Westeros.
Maybe she
she's
needs
going
to
have
stay
to
next to Bran and make sure no one tries to off him at some point.
People
That's
said
the
that
king.
about Arya too. When Arya went on her little thing, they was like, I don't care about Arya, and she ended up being the most entertaining character. So I think something
I
will
never
happen,
liked it.
And there was a storyline
Boring.
Westeros.
Because her shit to me isn't smart enough.
Yo,
She's sneaky.
That's a wild hot take though that you're out on this whole Arya.
Completely out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
completely-
like
I didn't even like her
majority
killing
of
Night
the
King.
fans-
I'm just saying, like, for me, what I love about Cersei is that she outsmarts everyone.
Right.
Like, everybody
Except for-
gets bodied.
But not everybody can be just outsmarting people. Some people got to get their hands dirty.
Yeah, but don't
That's
make
a good
shows
point.
about them.
And to be fair,
she's gotta be- someone's
Arya
gotta
was
do
the
it.
one that made the Hound go back in and start fighting.
Arya-
like
Arya-
she inspires people to do shit in this tiny
She
little
takes action.
person, right?
Yeah. She takes action.
Cersei was sitting there with that wine glass, like, okay, you
Just
go.
bodying
And
people.
like Sansa's trying to figure out how to game plan, and she's just showing up to people, taking people's necks out. Like that's you gotta appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a side character.
Like
No,
kinetic
Arya's not a
action.
side character.
Arya's a great side character.
She's one of the-
Arya is a
she's-
side
That's
Why,
character.
why do you
Character,
think
bro.
the whole last battle was from her POV?
Which one?
The Bells, the last episode.
I
before
loved
this.
that scene
She
with
was,
the
the one,
horse.
she was the one
She was the
running
one on the
around.
streets.
Was she saw someone else out
Getting
there?
King's Landing
I don't
cancer.
know. I didn't.
And then
I
she
didn't
was
know.
wrong. That was really good. When she told that lady, okay, like, come out of here, and then that lady
Yeah,
died.
yeah,
that was great.
yeah.
Like, all that emotion. I loved that.
I mean, I don't care who walked around it. I was more into the dragon than I was like Arya's point of view.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I could have used a taller.
You were
point of
concerned
view.
about the dragon the
Yeah.
whole time.
Maybe somebody 6'2". We could see over some stuff. I was just looking at fucking chest for the entire episode.
actually-
All I'm saying is I don't see enough to follow. Like, I have zero interest. Write me a card, but I don't care about going with you west of Westeros.
Did you enjoy the faces with Arya?
No, it sucked.
Okay, so maybe that's why.
Like,
Well, I
Well,
like
well,
the faces.
the
You're
faces-
wild
So,
now,
gives
man.
a
there it is right
Crazy,
there.
bro.
I like the faces too, so I think
She
that's
got
what it
this
was.
fucking.
That's when I got invested.
Learn how to sweep. No, I'm
I think the hottest take of all is that you think Arya, one, isn't a main character, and two, not a likable
side
character.
character.
is
Like the
bad.
Hulk should never be a main character. Really fun when they pop in and do some shit, but don't make the movie
Yo,
only
No,
about
hold
by the
on.
way-
She had a great initial setup when she was spending all that time with Tywin, and their dialogue was some of the best parts of the show.
Some of the best.
Yes,
parts of the
yes.
show.
Oh, so when she was a side character.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
God.
I don't know where, I don't know where the
She
side
had
character's
such-
coming
That
from.
Like,
was
she had
literally how they
such
were starting
development.
trailers. And she's a side character?
No, she's not a side
Yeah, she's a
character.
side character.
Look, all the main characters get
John.
their own.
Bro,
Get
we
their
were
own.
counting off who she was gonna get
Cersei.
next.
This is main characters. John, Dany, Cersei.
Yes.
That's it.
No.
Tyrion.
No, Tyrion.
That's it.
Tyrion's a
Sansa.
side character.
Sansa.
Sansa's a side
Sansa.
character.
No,
Yo,
Tyrion-
Greyjoy is a
Sansa's
side
character.
Yeah.
Greyjoy's a side
Jar
character.
J.
Who are the-
Gord.
Yo,
Who are the-
Greyjoy needs to get his mouth shut.
The first
Seriously.
thing you see in
Oh,
the
I was
Game
mad
of
at him.
Thrones is
Yeah, yeah.
Arya running through when
You
Robert
good,
is
bro?
coming in through.
Sit down,
I'm
man.
trying to
Let's
take
go,
a-
let him
We got
go.
one camera angle.
Stretch your legs out.
As soon as you mentioned Sansa, he's standing up.
That's Sansa's a side character.
No, but wasn't it? It was her watching her dad die. That's when we felt that, like,
Yeah, she had. I mean, the
that's
show,
when you
yeah,
fell
it
in
was
love
good.
with Arya. That moment,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, now you about to do some shit.
Arya was
And-
the first person you saw when she
And that
'cause when
innocence is
Robert
taken.
Baratheon comes in, she's running through Winterfell to
It's
see
literally
him
from her
come in.
perspective.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, she was a great point of view.
Look, the book is a series
This is,
of
you know what? You get
mean,
real
the-
misogynistic.
Schulz.
I've just told you I love Cersei.
But she's the only manly bitch on the shot. Well, Brianna Tarth. But you know what I'm saying.
Brianna Tarth, okay, Cersei
has
is
the
just
most
smart.
mask energy. I think Arya.
Why? Because she's smart?
No.
What is masculine about her
I don't
energy
think
at
she's
all?
masculine.
We see
All
her on
she
the
does-
throne. We see her be very ruthless. We normally
You
see
wanna
that
fuck
with
Cersei?
men.
Yeah.
You want to fuck Cersei?
Nah.
Word?
Yeah, no, I don't fuck with
It's the
Cersei.
wig.
What about Brienne?
Cersei has. This is a personal thing. We're getting into my
Yeah,
personal
Lena
it's
Headey
personal.
thing?
Yeah.
But I've never been into like Keira Knightley because she's this
You
weird
know,
thing with her.
that's my thing.
Yeah,
And-
I
and,
like the British overbite.
And
British
I'm into
Cersei
that.
reminds me of Keira Knightley in like the worst way.
Because she
Okay.
has that, what, like.
She has that
the
weird
British overbite.
underbite.
Yo,
And she like does this
Cersei
thing with her
wanted to
teeth.
fuck me.
Wait, in life?
Yes, in real life.
Wait, you interviewed him?
Yes, I interviewed her.
Okay, so what happened?
She was giving me like the sexy eye. And
Cersei?
Yes. Lena.
Lena? Haley?
Lena
Hadley?
Headley, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And she was just eyeing me the whole time for like 30 minutes on the press conference.
Did
I was
you
like,
throw
"Oh,
it at her?
shit." Yo, I walked over to her and was like, "Hey, what's up?" And she said, "I thought your hat said cunt." She didn't want to.
What'd it say?
But I thought for a good 20 minutes. I was about to get
What did it say?
And after that, he was like, "Is Sansa
It
or
said
death,
cult.
bitch?" I'm fucking with Cersei no more.
Now things start to make sense. Now things are starting to make sense.
Sansa gotta take that hoe out.
Did you ever interview Sansa or do you have
I'm
a fucking...
glad she died a
I don't think I
meaningless
ever- I
death.
met her before, but I didn't-
Honestly,
Yo,
Lena's kind of hot with the black hair.
meaningless. Crying. Fuck her.
She died of me. She'll never have songs sung about her.
Okay, wait. So
No, you
in
missed this
real
part.
life, who would
missed
you want to
this
fuck
part.
then?
Hold on, you missed this. Yeah, what did he say?
He's like,
she'll never have stories or fables told about. Fables?
You did say that.
They ain't gonna have no
They will
fables,
never
bitch.
sing songs about
They ain't gonna have
Cersei.
no fables, bro.
Ever.
Yo, just curse it. It's
person
a
of the
song of
whole time.
fire and ice. You ain't got neither, bitch.
Yo, when he said that, I was like,
You lukewarm over here, bitch.
Oh my god, I can't breathe.
Now you think she's a cunt.
Yo, I'm fucking going
man.
crazy. That's why you got death by rubble.
I mean, the rubble was dumb.
Bro.
She's a Flintstone now.
I've been waiting to say that for 3 years.
Yabba dabba, don't curve me again. All right.
What'd your hat say?
Cult.
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 So before I walk away, I
Understandable,
do want to know everyone's top fucks and favorite sex scenes, because how else would I end
Yes.
up? Mine was, I hate to say it because as a feminist,
Go.
I shouldn't like the unwanted sex, but goddamn, that like ish rape scene with Khal Drogo and Khaleesi, fuck, yo.
That was the one.
Wow,
Oh,
really?
yeah.
Oof,
Yeah.
that got me. Got
You know
the
what I
pussy wet.
liked early? I think it was season 1.
That forehead kiss.
No.
remember
The
that shit.
Khaleesi's like maid who was in the bath with Daenerys' brother.
Oh.
Hot.
Wait, who's that guy she used to fuck that had the long hair?
That was a cousin.
that was her cousin, the other
Well,
Lannister.
my cousin don't look like that. But damn. But let me see who I would want to fuck on the show. Obviously, Jason Momoa, but I'm trying to think outside the box here. I loved watching Jon Snow and what's her name, the wildling chick.
Ygritte.
That was a
Yeah.
sexy scene. Those nipples. Why do redheads always have tiny nipples like that? I don't know. But anyway, that was a really cute scene. It made me look up ginger porn for like a week.
Oh shit. Okay.
Ooh.
Top
Keep going.
sex scene.
Go to Jack. I'm still thinking.
Jack said
I
it.
gave you mine.
Zilla.
Masandre and Grey Worm. I just love.
You like the
seeing her-
scissors?
You like the dickless scissor?
I just love seeing her tits. They just was. There was the
She
most
was
rewarding.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what? You
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
Tits.
Looking at the only black girl on the show. All right, brother. I see you.
Haney.
It was Ygritte and John because I shouldn't have been attracted to Ygritte, and I had to really. It made me. I had to go inward and be like, what why? Why am I so turned on here?
Why not be attracted to her?
I don't know, because she's like a really skinny redhead, and that wouldn't be what I would think I'd be attracted to. But I fucking love you, Rose Leslie, if you hear this.
Wow.
What's yours?
Oh, best sex scene. Wow, that is.
They're
a
all
good
on
question.
Pornhub.
It just hasn't been sex in so long. I haven't even
yeah, I
thought about
can't-
it.
Again, getting away from what really matters on the show.
I loved the fucking threesomes between the dude and his wife, the Dorn, and they would bring like
Oberyn,
men
yeah.
and women
You
in
know
there.
which
Oof.
ones? You know which one? This is weird. There's a bathtub scene with Theon and some whore.
Well, she's not just some whore. She was the whore.
She was
The
the
redhead?
whore.
The other redhead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One from Winterfell. Went
She
down
was
the
she was literally every scene she was in. She was naked.
She was a whore.
Yeah.
So
Or she was a whore.
Damn. Let's
so
call this
so
now.
that one, I think that one. I forget. There was one where like the girl's facial expression demonstrated the size of Theon's dick. Because, you know, they would always talk about how Theon had a big dick.
Yeah.
And then, like, she was really into it. And I was like, oh, I guess he does have a big dick. So I like that.
That was
one.
your favorite?
You didn't like the one. Remember when the Lannister soldiers went into the brothel and that chick just like crawled with her pussy first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like crawled backwards. You don't
Yeah.
remember that
One
one?
remember
hundred
that.
percent remember that, but that's the sub in me.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the Red Witch when she was banging.
Yo!
yeah.
I was
Witch
kind of
was
into
good,
that.
too.
I was
About
into
that
that
shit.
body. I was like,
Yeah,
damn.
You know
No,
what's
she was
funny?
put
Like,
together
so
right.
I saw someone say on Twitter, like, "Oh, would you fuck her if you know she could change at any
Yeah.
moment?" And I was like, "Yes."
What?
If I'm already in it, you know what I'm saying? I could close my eyes and like feel it.
Amulet come off. Next thing you know, you fucking what's her name? Betty White from the Golden Girls. Nah, son.
Once you in it, though,
She get mad dry. Nah.
the scissoring starts drying out for me.
She mad wet.
You hit it too hard, the amulet
Take
pop
off
up. It's
that
like,
necklace. You start
Okay, so if you had to, would you fuck Cersei or Missandei?
Masanda. If I had to fuck, if I had to marry, I'd marry Cersei.
100% Sunday.
Yeah, you got to marry.
what am I fucking for though?
Dude, I don't know. It's
for a
just,
nut.
Nah, because sometimes fucking for experience is way better. Like,
so
Cersei's
Cersei.
a fucking freak.
Oh, that's a good point.
Cersei's
That
a
is
freak.
a good point.
Yeah.
Like, am I fucking just to get some pussy? Because I'm gonna pick Masandra. If I'm fucking like the fuck,
Because she's hotter, but.
yeah, I'm gonna pick Cersei. Because Cersei's a
Cersei's
freak.
gonna do some wild shit.
Cersei's gonna do some wild
She
shit.
fucks
Yeah,
her
watch out
brother.
for that underbite.
Danny or Missandei?
Ooh, Danny.
Amelia Clark be looking homely in real life.
I would pick
You know
Danny.
what I'm saying?
I would pick
She was
Danny
at the
because she could
Rockets
just
game
order
the other night
Masandra
in a
to come
fucking
in.
Afghan. No, did you see her? Bro, she had the fucking skirt onto her ankles. What was I watching in Houston?
Wait, who?
No, because you know why? Because her whole image is based off of being naked as Danny.
Fam, that's overcompensating. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We did see the ass.
Let
in
me
the
see.
first
Let me
scene.
see
I
a little
remember that.
ankle.
Yeah,
Let me get some
dude.
shin.
Yeah, she was.
Remember when she was
looking a
wearing
little
that
Amish.
hot ass fucking outfit? Ugh, those are my favorite days when it was like hot outside. I don't
Yeah.
remember where they was at.
All right, no more horrible decisions. Game of Thrones sex talk.
Yeah, this is
You like that.
we're crossing paths here.
You are such an alpha female. You've turned this into
Isn't that the
a horrible
point, though?
decision.
Big strap energy.
Hey! Thank you so much, Weezy.
Thanks, boo.
Thanks for coming on. Okay, Jack, why don't you take us into what we have to look at, not forward to, but potentially look at for the future.
Well, did you
and
guys
then we'll
notice?
wrap it up.
Did you guys notice the Westworld trailer?
No, I was.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were talking about the Game of Thrones future.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're talking about podcast future.
No.
Game of Thrones future. I think they left intentionally left the door open to have a possible sequel or multiple sequels, like we were
Right.
just talking about. The immediate next step is a prequel that takes place 1,000 years before all of this shit that went down.
And what is happening? That's the Targaryen dynasty?
No, that's like the first men. That's like the what happened with the Night King, like how he got turned into the Night King.
Oh,
Be
shit.
nice
So
to know.
maybe is that why everyone complained about Night King not having a backstory?
They probably
Because
were
they're just
saving it.
it for that.
But that still sucks. But yeah, we'll see. I hope DB Weiss and David Benioff are not attached. I hope they never. I'm boycotting everything they do from here on out.
So they got signed on to do the next 3.
Star Wars trilogies after this one that comes out in December.
But was that no knowledge before the last couple weeks?
It came out
Yeah.
within the last
So, but did you know that like beforehand?
Yeah, been out.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Okay. I didn't know that.
Have you interviewed these guys?
No, I never interviewed them.
fucking.
I'm trying to say with actors and not like.
The behind the scenes guys. I'm just okay. So whatever. We have a couple of things that could happen in the world. That's something that we could look forward
Yeah,
to.
I love they open up the world. If you listen to Danny's speech, she talks about shit I've never heard of before, like all types of different lands she wants to conquer.
Ah.
I was like, oh, they open up the world. That's new.
Huh. Okay. So then maybe we get to see some of that.
Where did Dothraki go?
They're still there.
They're just multiplying by the fucking second.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no,
there was
literally
6 of them.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. Now they're a full
all
army.
male too. Like, where the fuck?
Yeah,
It's
there's-
unbelievable.
Yeah, there's going to be a weird dynamic in King's Landing for sure.
The Unsullied are going
awkward,
to have
dude.
some issues too, right?
Well, because they can't.
They
be
can't
more.
produce offspring.
Yeah.
They're just going to an island where they're all just dickless.
I know.
They're gonna go get their ears rubbed.
Some point, doesn't seem sustainable.
Yeah, they're just going to grow old. It's
They're just gonna die
this
on
old
an
And there's
army.
going to be no young people, putting in, tax benefits to take care of these old people.
Yeah.
They're just
You know
going to
what?
die.
Good though.
Yeah.
Grey Worm really
Right?
just.
Yeah.
What?
Grey Worm really just took a turn and ended up.
I mean, I would like to have seen something there.
I need a
some
John Grey
resolution.
Worm, bro. I
Yeah.
need some smoke. I
Yeah.
really wanted to see
John
some
also
smoke.
really got left with nothing
That
too,
one fights.
other than a guilty conscience. Like he
Yeah.
really
For doing the
ended
right
up
thing.
worse than anyone.
Right.
Yeah. But that's where he's supposed to be. I kind
No,
of
but
like
he's got
that,
a
John.
stupid fucking dog. So it's,
It would have been nice if like they somehow didn't kill off your grit and like she was just like waiting for him
Just
there at
with
the
the
end,
stare.
bro.
Yep.
I would have warmed my heart as corny as that would have been.
Actually, kind of, yeah.
You know what I'm
I would
saying?
like because you want to see something happy for him.
He's just gonna live with the rest of his life. Like,
But I guess
man,
that's what the whole thing. He's been miserable the whole fucking show. He might as well be miserable for the rest of his fucking life.
Oh, that's a glass half full way to think about it. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, guys, what a crazy. I mean, any last thoughts?
It's over.
It's just a
crazy.
crazy thing.
It sucks that it's over.
Let's look at the impact of this show as a show, right? Like before this, Game of Thrones was really like the first AAA like blockbuster TV show on this
Yeah.
scale, and like it was kind of just paving the way as it went. And like the idea of seeing a full blown dragon in season 1 was like mind blowing, right? and then we're dealing with 3 dragons, and then we're dealing with like
And we're complaining about them.
undead dragons, and then now we're at the point where we're complaining about all this shit.
Yeah.
But like, we've been given a lot by this show.
So much.
Yeah, I still think it's the greatest show ever to be put on television. You look at all the other shows that are comparable to it. I feel like Breaking Bad went out with a thud. I feel like
Whoa.
this was...
Hold on.
Whoa.
You didn't like the last. I think the last 3 episodes of Breaking Bad were the great. It's the greatest.
I
last
think
Breaking
three
Bad is,
episodes.
yeah.
in my opinion, the perfect example of how you end a show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad was okay, man. It has not aged well. When's the last time you watched Breaking Bad?
I've watched
only
it 3
watch
times
things
over.
once.
I've watched every season 3 times.
It hasn't aged well. Have
Okay.
you watched it recently?
Oh yeah.
Hasn't aged well.
I
Okay,
could not.
hot take.
Yeah.
But wait.
yeah.
But here's the thing: if we're looking at like TV has always been.
I still agree this is the best show in history. But I don't
there's
think
there's an argument to be made with like this is like comparing Avengers to like Goodfellas, right? like it's a different form of show, and I agree it's one of the best ever, Game of Thrones. But I almost like look at it differently because it's not like human story. It's this like fantasy world.
Yeah.
It's like Lord of the Rings, comparing Lord of the Rings to Taxi Driver or some shit.
No, I see
Right.
that. I can
Right.
see
There are
that.
handcuffs that you have to wear telling stories that are real, that you do not have to wear in fantasy.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're less
I've always
than-
looked at Game of Thrones as this different thing. It doesn't like take away from how great it is.
That's fair.
That's super fair.
I think
Someone
you're doing-
said
But it's
Game of
also
Thrones
no
was
fun
ridiculous.
to have those discussions. It's
Sure.
way more fun to be like top 5 all eras.
It may be top 5 all
It's
time.
just the biggest
Oh, it has
show
to be
ever.
top
It's got to
5.
be top 5 all
just
time.
for the impact like alone.
And for quality, like God, we were obsessed with this
It
fucking
was
show, man.
so good. It was so good for a while.
And we're not talking about a sitcom that has like 22 episodes a season, so you're constantly in your
Right.
face. We're talking about, what were these seasons?
10, 6, and
10 episodes. Then we wait a year and a half patiently
6.
for 6. Like this was quality, man.
I think for me, maybe if the season was different, I'd be thinking about it
Fair enough.
more glowingly.
Fair
but-
enough.
As far as impact, you think there's another show ever that is going to be a
No.
weekly event?
They say this
This was
every
the last
time,
one.
though.
When was this? When did they say this last time?
This was the last one.
Well, but here's the thing.
Yo,
It-
Breaking Bad people are like not on the scale because not as many
Game of
viewers.
Thrones was
obviously.
already on at the end.
But
of
like,
it.
even with like
But
Lost,
Game of
remember back
Thrones-
when like Lost was like a huge thing? It's like, oh, it's never gonna.
I don't think
now
people
everyone's
ever
gonna
say
talk
anything.
about
Lost
it again.
ended crap too.
Lost
Lost
ended
had-
terribly.
To be fair, Lost might have been the last network television show that
yeah,
was that
network.
Yes,
I think
yes.
is that it's true.
When you think of the best TV shows, how many of them belong to HBO?
That's a great question.
I mean,
Wire.
Sopranos,
Sopranos,
The Wire.
Game of Thrones.
Wire.
That's 3 right there.
Um,
Everybody says I gotta watch Deadwood. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
It's
dude,
only two
everybody
seasons,
said
though, right?
it's a short show, but everybody
Like in the top
says-
5, like they have 3 of the top 5.
That's
Three of the top
insane.
five.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
no.
fucking insane?
So here's the thing. So like HBO established themselves as the place to be. They're very good at curating and having like a quality to everything they put out there.
Yeah.
Mostly everything.
Yeah.
Now, when Game of Thrones first came out, Netflix wasn't what it is now, and it's kind of like evolved through this binge watching era where like we have everything at our fingertips
Yeah.
to be the last of like. I actually thought about that as this episode was finishing tonight, where I was like, "This is the last time." Like I could hear my neighbor watching it. Like
Yep.
I
Yeah.
could hear like my doorman was like, "Yo, did you see it?"
Dude.
Like,
Bro, I heard someone going like throw something in the garbage, like shoot across from the hall, and I was like, "You're a fucking loser. Why aren't you watching this episode right
When
now?"
remember when the
doing?
episode when Jon Snow was brought back to life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had paused my TV for a second to go get food and forgot about it, and then I'm watching the show, and so I'm now on like a 30-second behind. All of a sudden, 30 seconds forward, he gets raised from the dead. My entire building starts cheering. I could hear everywhere, and then all of a sudden I'm like, "Wait, why is everyone cheering?" And then I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm on a delay." And then he opens his eyes, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I knew it." But it was like
But
everyone was watching.
So these moments, right?
Yeah.
Like, what these moments take, and this is kind of it's sheer luck in a lot of ways, right? TV has transitioned into streaming, and the difference with streaming is that we're all watching these shows at our own time, right? So there's not this, hey, I'm going to wait a week and then I'll catch up on the next episode. I'll just watch the entire season in a weekend, right?
Right.
So
which affects how we digest it.
and then how we communicate with each other. Like one of the
Yes.
great things about Game of Thrones or like Sopranos back in the day was that whole week you had a discussion point with every stranger that you met.
Yes.
Right? It was no
Free
different
small
than
talk.
free small talk, dude. It was free, and it was so great because you didn't have to go, well, where are you from, or well, what do you do? Those are stupid questions we just say so we can find some connection. Hey, you think John's on the throne? Honestly, my thought is, and everybody got the hot take, and we could really kind of coalesce over this one show, and that was the power of TV and the power of film in a lot of ways. Like you saw it with Endgame. Endgame came out. What was your theory? How did you guys feel? And there was a moment where we all came together, and we're so fractured because of streaming, even though it's way easier to take in this information, but we're so fractured. And now because streaming is the norm, you will never have another moment like this in the history of content.
I don't think so. And
It's fucking
I think you're right.
It's possible.
Do you ever think
it's possible, but it's going to be so hard.
You don't think there'll ever be a blowback? Because like right now, it really
Here's
feels
my
like there's a
theory.
quality
Here's my
control
theory.
issue.
Well, there
Check
actually
it.
is.
Check it.
Right.
And
Netflix
this is
just
what I
throwing a
think we
bunch of
should
shit
do,
at the
right?
wall.
Yeah.
This is what I would do. And this is very hard because for multiple reasons, but I would say, let's say you had a property that you really believed in, and no network would do this, but no network would just say, okay, make 2 seasons in a row. But let's say you really believed in this property. I would say make 2 seasons in a row, let them binge it. Then that 3rd season,
Do a weekly.
they're
thing.
going to have to wait every week because you got to get them
Well, they're-
addicted. That's Breaking Bad. Nobody watched Breaking Bad initially, right? And then we stream that shit, addicted. Now we'll wait.
Well-
So that's what I would do. I do first 2
a good
seasons
point.
stream, 3rd one you wait.
There's talk of Hulu started doing this. They do it with Handmaid's Tale and all their shows where they release them like weekly. But there's talk of Netflix doing that. They do it with some of their shows. They
Yeah.
do it with
Patriot Act.
Patriot Act.
Yep.
It works for that talk show format. But like,
Yep.
I could see them toying with that because
should.
basically what happens is you consume it and then you just want more. And all of the conversations revolved around seasonal theories instead of episodic
Yeah.
theories. And it takes a lot of.
And you don't control the real estate. Like when Game of Thrones is on, HBO controls the conversation for
Yes.
2 whole months.
And
for 2
it's on
straight
SNL.
months.
It's
everything.
It's ingrained in pop culture. And so what happens is like the lifespan for like a seasonal show on Netflix is like a week.
weekend
Yeah,
or a week,
weekend,
dude.
yeah.
It's not.
Stranger Things comes and goes like that, right? And it's big when it's like out for like a week.
Pops,
Game of
done.
Thrones has been like the whole year. so
Look what
far.
happened with this very we have a podcast that was able to grow exponentially increase in following size during a season. That's insane.
And how many people
Like, that's
kept
insane.
How many people kept HBO subscriptions just for one show?
100,000. Everybody who has an HBO
Yeah.
subscription. I mean, there's only 2 other things I care about watching on HBO. Pretty Little Lies.
Oh my gosh!
What
I
is that?
cannot wait for that.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that was
Big
good.
Little
That was
They
a good
got
show.
Meryl Streep this
Big
year?
Little
Big Little
Lies.
Lies, yeah, it's good.
This is a
It's good.
testament to HBO, right? Because
Succession's good too. You got to watch.
Everybody
Succession.
says
Succession's
Success.
fucking
I
great.
think that's one of the shows I get in later.
Barry's-
but here's the
Barry's
thing.
good.
They're
Barry can't.
they're kind of doing like what Netflix is trying to do.
Fucking
Netflix
head.
just has a bunch of shit and like
He looks like Red Skull.
he does.
Barry.
I can't take his face either.
I can't. I just look at his
Barry's,
face. and
Barry's
I-
incredible. You guys should all be watching.
No, I know
Barry,
he's
but,
incredible, but he's also a skull.
Here's the thing about HBO.
Yeah, he has no collagen in his whole face. Like if you imagine a face without any collagen, that would be Barry.
Like how Andrew looked like an hour ago.
You do look better. You do look better.
Son, I'm gonna fall apart the second I walk out of here. But yeah, the collagen's there. It's popping. We go.
No, the thing about HBO is like Game of Thrones was the unifier. Everybody watched that, but
Yeah.
everybody has their own different favorite HBO show.
Yeah.
and it's a testament to how good they are at curating content and
Yeah.
developing content.
Unbelievable.
And, they're still like the go-to for me. If I see a commercial on HBO, I'm more likely to just check that out because I know it's more likely than not to be good.
Yeah, you give
You
him.
trust them. They have
Yeah.
credibility with you.
That's
Yeah.
why
Netflix,
they run
I have no
all of their
trust.
trailers before Game of Thrones.
Yes.
They run like
Oh, yeah.
that.
They said
it, bro. That
right at 9
No,
o'clock.
I'm
They were
watching
like
that
Game of Thrones will
Euphoria
start in
shit.
2 minutes. I'm like, all right, here we go. They're gonna show us all the next like.
Yeah.
So who watched it on app? Who watched it on TV?
I watch on TV.
So you saw the countdown?
Yeah.
Why am I a sucker for a countdown?
I missed the countdown.
They had a countdown like Game of Thrones.
Wow.
It's now
2 minutes
starting
and
5.
15 seconds.
And it was like it counted down. I think from 10.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, let's go. Sucker for a
Suspense.
countdown.
Give us suspense. We want it. Anyway, look, it's late. I'm hungover. I need to get some sleep. Thank you guys so much for coming and doing this. Thank you, Zilla. Zilla, let them know where they can see you, get all your content.
Blogzilla, BLOGXILLA. Follow me everywhere: Twitter, Instagram. Everywhere.
And also your shows or your like content. How do people access your content? Because I'll just see these random interviews that you
Yeah.
do. But is that a weekly thing or is that just
it's
coming
a weekly
around?
thing. I have a YouTube channel. It's
Okay.
Blogzilla TV and YouTube. You can find it on Global Grind. I host a show on Twitter called Power Star Live.
Yes.
I have a lot of gigs.
No, you're cooking, man. Yeah, you're cooking. And you have good interviews with, like, you know, I mean, this is like the highest profile actors in the business. So it's very cool seeing. Thank you guys for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you.
Haney, Jack, Marco, Alex, Natalia. Thank you guys so much for being here and doing it. Doing this. I appreciate it. Weezy left us already. But thank you guys. This has been Westerbros. We will continue this. We're gonna have some little internal talks about what the next thing we should do. Maybe some more movies, but I definitely think it's blockbuster events.
Hour of Game of Thrones next week.
Wait, what?
The documentary.
Documentary.
Oh, we gotta
Yeah.
get in there with that.
I'm down.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
All right.